G'day everybody. I want to talk about household security and privacy. A man's castle, a woman's castle, a family's castle, a place to feel safe. A place where you can go speak your mind and not have a government system criticise you at your home place. So you can go there, you can speak, you can act like an idiot, you can run around naked, you can probe in areas that perhaps people don't like to be probed and stuff like that. As long as you agree, you do what you do. You shouldn't be making things and stuff that you can't go sell, because if you do that, well, you've got a risk to take, you see, like that. But usually when it comes to that too, they'll wait till you go do that before you get you. So a house is a home of safety, no matter if you're going to do something stupid or be yourself that you can't show out there, as we do all act and do facades. As when you're sad, you still say, hello, g'day, facade, right? To get along and connect, because that's what it is. We make a balance of what we believe we should do. Some people might have been through too many things and they'll yell and scream, so on. But a house is a man's castle. I'll go with this. I'm a man speaking, right? But you know what I mean. And we don't need the lefties to jump in, seriously, right? We're going to get some disinfectant to clean up this, right? Don't whinge about what disinfected and all that. Do you get the point? And if you don't, you're going to look stupid. And they did later on, didn't they? Really trying to make someone else look stupid to get a word up. So when it comes to house safety and house feel like it's a castle, right? So you can speak what you want to speak. Right? You speak to your children, perhaps different things, but then you tell them about the outside world. You know, you got to be proper. You got to put your wear a t-shirt all times. You might like to walk around the house with your tattoos, but if you do that outside, you're going to get sunburnt, right? And you'll come whinging to me about sunscreen. And perhaps people don't like your big extra symbol on your back, which is a birthmark of a Hitler symbol, right? It just won't fit out there. But you can walk around with your t-shirt off inside if you want, right? As you're not a woman. And we can see nipples as not a sexual thing, right? But when it gets a lump on there, you know how the outside world sees it, and so on. You know how it goes, people. Right? You connect your facade to what you are outside, right? Because we all are different. And when the outside can be and handle the real people, we slowly introduce that through Parliament, isn't it? Right? And so your house is your castle unless you're doing something seriously wrong there where you're putting it out there, which is what I was just talking about when it comes to what you're making at home. And you're putting it out there. If you make it at home and always keep it at home, and you're not hurting any other younger souls that are not a soul yet to out there, so anything under 18, right, then you're doing all right. It still should be your privacy, right? And so that's why they set up cameras and do certain things, and people lose privacy as they're doing wrong that can harm out there, right? That's how we should see society. That's connection. That's how we can allow gays to first function before we allow them to do more steps out there, which is what they're talking about. Right? So when it comes to when you say to people, well, if I was in a certain job of government, the more higher the job, the more I expect, definitely from the top. So the tops can always be debated on what they've done, and the evidence is always there. So we can't be run around. So when it comes to the top, we need as much evidence to know that they're doing the right thing, which is record them. I've talked to the police about, certain sectors should have more cameras and stuff because it'll fix this, this, and this, and this. Even the home sector should have cameras for the man of the castle, right, to what he wants to do with it after that. But a home is like your own. It depends on how many kids you have, your own little community too, right? And then you have your head of that, the head of the household, as they call them, the head of the castle. And they should have cameras to help solve the old thing back in my day, the Mr. Nobody, right? And you keep getting the conundrum of the Mr. Nobody done this and this happened and that happened. No one wants to admit it was just the Mr. Nobody, right? But the cameras could have put that out. So if you either have it or don't, right? But in certain sectors, if you know it's important, you should have it. Otherwise, you'll be looked as a failure when things go down and you can't fix it, right? And so in certain sectors, I believe they should be recorded more often in more areas, right? Unless they're not really doing their job or they're not meeting anyone else that can affect their job. So hire other important people. Otherwise, everything should be recorded to a certain hierarchy team. So it's content. You're not allowed to put it out, right? Unless it needs to be. So everything gets recorded, right? Until there's an incident, right? Until then, it's private. Right? So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to hide. You're not doing nothing. All they're going to record every now and then is you might pick your nose and shit like that. But if some idiot puts that up, well, they're going to get consequences for that. We're not getting recordings to find out they picked their nose. In fact, we don't even need to check recordings until incidents in a lot of these recordings. Right? A lot of it can be public recordings. That's no worries. We put it out. Yep. That's during the day when he's at work kind of thing, doing his work, talking to the people. We can use that. Right? But behind the scenes, when he's in his office, when he's getting at home, who he's connecting to, and all those recordings can be private, which is what I talked about. And I'm happy to have the system just like that in certain areas and for certain people that have either done already certain things or need to have it to speed up life so we don't have to have bullshit bullying. It gets rid of bullying. A lot of things in Parliament are not happening because they just don't know and they're not knowing who's doing what. But if they can go, all right, we'll go back here. We've been 2 weeks. We've got the recordings of that. We'll find out how busy you were, right? Boom. We don't have to have any more argument. I've got a dude on it and I'll get back to you in 2 weeks or a week because I've got a few people and they're all watching this. Right? We'll get the answer. Bang, no more argument. Let's move on to the next thing. And if you're wrong, you're going to be in trouble. You'll be called a liar or so on, right? That's how you fix those things. Without the recording, you couldn't say that, could you? Right? And so when it comes to